All right, let's get a sense of the state of the race as it exists right now. I'm now going across to Professor Emeritus of Political Science at the University of California, San Diego, and one of America's foremost political scientists and scholars, Dr. Arend Lijphart is now joining us. Thank you very much, Dr. Lijphart. I first want to ask you your thoughts on the state of the election race as it stands today. It's Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Harris, of course, just securing the Democratic Party's nomination with that famous speech back on Thursday night, Friday morning. So 4 days after she clinched the nomination, do you reckon this is still very much a neck-and-neck race and anything can possibly happen on the 5th of November, despite the fact that Harris is expected to get a bit of a bump, if you will, once the first polls are in after the convention, after the Democratic convention concluded last week?
Yes, I think that is true, even though I think the chances that Kamala Harris has are now better. Most of the experts who are looking at the polls, and especially in the so-called battleground states, say that she has a better than even chance, something like 52%, 53%. I myself think that it's somehow I have a feeling it's a little bit higher than that. But the things have certainly turned around. She almost as soon as she became the candidate, the opinion polls became much more favorable for her. So that is a very important development.
I do want to know from you what exactly changed about a month, maybe about 40 odd days ago, when the assassination attempt happened on Donald Trump. It seemed like this election was a done deal, that this was his election to lose, and that at that time, Harris was not even the official Democratic nominee. It was still Biden. Biden then dropped out, and within a matter of a few days, she sort of got the rank and file and the leadership of the Democratic Party to rally around her. How did she manage this turnaround? People, at the Democratic convention, people were saying that this kind of joy and energy, you can feel that something big is happening in America. How did this turnaround happen?
Yeah, I think there are a number of reasons. One is that compared with President Biden, that she seemed to be, more, obviously she's quite a bit younger, more energetic, and instead of being hindered by this being a last minute development, I think that may actually have helped her, because it meant that she could very, very quickly being endorsed by the whole party, all the power brokers in the party, and did not have to go through primary elections where different candidates attack each other and tear down each other. So there was kind of like an instant unity to the party, and that shows them, and that good feeling has considered, and I think that is very, very important, and an important factor in her chances are that especially some of the people who were hesitant to support the Democratic candidate, like younger people and people of color, have now rallied behind her. So
Okay.
there are a number of good and kind of like almost like accidental factors that have helped her. It's too early to say how things will develop for her in the near future. Of course, the Democratic convention is just a few days behind us. Almost all of the experts say, yeah, you get a bump from a
Yeah.
successful convention, but that will fade. I am looking. I'll be looking for the opinion polls in the next several days or several weeks to see whether she can sustain this.
You did say that this is still pretty much a very extremely close race, and I want to know your thoughts, particularly in the battleground states, the three states in the Midwest, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, which many refer to as the blue wall states. These are states that Biden won against Trump 4 years ago, but Hillary Clinton lost to Trump 8 years ago. Can Kamala Harris possibly afford to lose any one of these three states? Because if she does, then no matter what she does in the rest of the battleground states, were the Sun Belt states, as it were, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina, Arizona, it may not be enough because she has to win all of the blue wall states. Would that be an accurate assessment at this stage?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean that is how she does in all of the battleground states, and generally, I think about 7 of those are identified, including North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada. But those Midwestern states are especially crucial. What I have noticed with the serious surveys that have been conducted recently, that they now really just focus on the battleground states. They don't really worry too much more about what the national vote totals look like. What is important is how the vote in the battleground states will be, and especially the 3 that you mentioned. I mean, I live in California, and of course, I know that the voters in California, they're going to vote for Kamala Harris, and so it makes no difference. The difference will be what happens in those battleground states. So that you're exactly right. Hillary Clinton won the national vote, but lost in the battleground states, and that sealed her fate. Trump is a consistent. He has not won a national vote yet. I mean, he lost in 2016. Even he won the election, but he didn't win the popular vote. And in 2020, of course, he lost the election, also lost the popular vote. And one of the possibilities that may well happen in November is that Kamala Harris will again win the popular vote, but that in the Electoral College that Trump will win, and so that he will be president for a second time, even though it would be the 3rd time that he has lost the popular vote.
I do want to ask you, is there a danger for pollsters, like what we saw in 2016, that people who were being polled and people who were going to vote for Trump deliberately hid that fact, either because they were embarrassed or they didn't want to get into any controversy, and therefore there was a deliberate sort of undervaluing of the number of people who were going to vote for Trump, deliberate underreporting of the Trump vote, as it were. Do you see something similar happening this time around as well?
Well, I think she may well win get exactly that same fate with a popular vote win, but a loss in the electoral college. There are many organizations that take surveys, and they try to figure in all of these factors, a possible undercount with people who are refusing or reluctant to indicate their true preference. I must say I am amazed how accurate the surveys still are when they do all their weighing of the different population groups. They try to be, of course, to be as complete and accurate as possible, but when you're talking about whether it's going to be 50%, 51%, 52%, that's an awfully small percentages, and it's amazing how how good they still tend to be. But I agree with you. There's always the possibility of an undercount. And I would also say that with Trump has been president before, and I think the reluctance of possible reluctance of people to say that they favor Trump is probably not going to be that much of a factor, because he has become a national figure, and certainly in areas where Trump is very popular, I think people would not be reluctant at all to say they're in
All right.
favor of Trump.
Professor Arend Lijphart, thank you very much for joining us here on Brass Tacks with your thoughts and perspective on the state of the U.S. presidential race. That's